Hi, this is BK Black Krishna for manfulwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help polite Canadians and others teach kids to be, look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss and share lots of great online info we all find offline as nice, helpful people making nicer places to live. There's some issues these days when it comes to communication. There are people looking at lots of YouTube videos and listening to lots of podcasts and typing comments to strangers. And yet the way we're interacting with each other makes it more difficult to communicate about all that great stuff and respect each other for it. And so at manfulwars.com, I'm trying to help people deal with that. Check it out as you'd like. And on that note, this video is called Men. Defending women from them and other men acting badly starts small and happens every single day. So men defending women from them and other men acting badly it starts small and happens every single day. It's basically your job as a man there to make sure you're cool, other people are cool, and where you live is cool, and as a bigger, stronger creature to make sure smaller creatures are cool, and that includes possibly other men, but most specifically women and children. Doesn't mean you do whatever they say. You know, they can have whatever they need, not whatever they want necessarily. That's influenced by other things, but whatever they need, that's pretty much your job. And so you have to defend women from them acting badly, and yourself by extension, and from other men acting badly, and yourself by extension. And that's how you can keep your balls. And at manfulwars.com, the tagline is, there's a war on for your balls. Just like Infowars.com has there's a war on for your mind. This is more specifically about your balls. And if men keep their balls and then they can think, talk, and fight and do stuff for where they live with other men, then wherever you are, you should be fine. If not, and they make each other a mess, and they make women and children a mess, then where you live is going to be a mess. So it's a bigger picture to smaller picture thing. But it starts small and it happens every day. Now, let's get us up to speed on what's been happening over the last, say, 10 or so years, right? We've all noticed that we live in a fast-paced world. Things are changing for better or worse, faster and faster, and we seem, as individuals, and even working together in groups, to be having less and less control over that. And the reason is super rich people, globalists, central banking mafias, and others, not race-specific, ethnic-specific, whatever, but cabals of super rich people are using globalism, their plan to run the whole world using international institutions like the UN, World Bank, International Criminal Court, and others. They want to use those to run the whole world. So they want to weaken countries and people in those countries to do that. And then there's nationalism, where people who are part of nation states around the world try and work together to defend those countries, defend their culture, their economy, their border. And it's not because you hate other people. You didn't hate other people. You didn't hate the people that lived there, even if they were different. Many of them the same in terms of demographics, but even people that were different there could all get along in countries full of happy, optimistic people. And so that's nationalism versus globalism. And that's the bigger picture when it comes to how we're being influenced. Globalists push a lot of ideas into your country that nobody wants. For example, you can't walk around with a petition saying, oh, excuse me, people of France, people of Germany, people of Nigeria, people of Japan, people of Brazil, whatever. I want you to sign this petition that says we should have open borders. Just let in anybody who shows up. Don't be too careful about who they are. Don't make them wait and take immigrating here and learning about the culture and developing a real fondness for it and desire to fit in seriously. Don't take any of that into account. Don't do proper background checks when it comes to them being criminals in their own countries. Don't screen them carefully for health reasons. Just let them show up and come on in. Come on, we are the world. We love people. Sign this petition. You can't walk around your country anywhere in the world and get people to buy into that. And yet that's promoted from by the globalist-controlled media, because that is a globalist idea. And you can look at bodies like the United Nations and Google UN and borders, and you'll see all of their policy papers pushing for open borders. Their Global Compact on Migration, which says, excuse me, or for migration, which says you should be able to leave any country you don't feel safe in, but we need to work on you being able to enter any country you want as well. And so the UN pushes for that. So again, globalism versus nationalism. Nationalism has to beat that. You can't walk around your country with a petition that says, you know what, we should teach younger and younger kids more and more about more and more type of sex, more and more types of sex, right? That's what we need. We need to do that. You can't walk around Russia or Portugal or Colombia or America or China and say, yeah, you, just average person who lives here. We think we should teach younger and younger children more and more about more and more types of sex at younger and younger ages. We should make this something that's a goal of our education system in our country. Could you sign this petition, please? No. Nobody would accept that. Nobody would. You would get dirty looks, told off, punched in the face, arrested, and where you live would be better for it. So how does that become something? Again, United Nations globalism in 2010-11, they came out with a bunch of documentation working with other international groups like the International Planned Parenthood Federation on with their exclaimed documentation, where they say, yeah, children have sexual rights, children are sexual beings, we're going to promote this all over the world, and we're going to leach it into your countries. And so for people out there, people that are Joe and Jane, wherever you live, who are patriots, who are nationalists or whatever, you've got to get these bad ideas messing with people and messing with where you live out of your country. So that's the broader framing when it comes to how we're being brainwashed and why. And so within that framework, it makes it a lot easier to understand if you can actually track these things back, because then you're not confused by divide and conquer schemes. This race hates that race, this gender hates that gender, blah, blah, blah. Like, nobody wants to do that stuff. So where is that from? That's from someplace that's not here, and we have to beat it and get it the hell out. And so you can frame all of these attacks on gender and the way we treat each other as part of that process of people who are not from where you live trying to weaken people where you live. There may be some sellouts where you live, globalist sellouts, either wittingly or unwittingly contributing to this agenda. But, super rich people fund a lot of activism. That activism is meant to brainwash and confuse and divide and conquer us over time. And so the normal activists working for these groups may not know that, but you push certain ideas over 5, 10, 20 years, all of a sudden your place is a mess, your people are a mess, and you don't know why. That's part of that process. And that's stuff that we have to untangle ourselves individually and collectively where we live and our countries from as part of this. So I wanted to make that clear so people don't take it personally. And then we can get into, what men need to do, because it really is up to men, right? It is up to men. During the Muslim Crusades towards Christianity, where the Muslims got together, 500 or 1,000 years ago and attacked Europe, the men had to fight. They had to think, talk, and fight and figure out how to defend where they lived, or they were all going to die or be enslaved, and their women and children were going to be raped and enslaved as part of that process. So the men had to do it, and the women were like, well, what do you want? Do you want a sandwich? Do you want a blowjob? Whatever, get out there, go, fight, defend us, fight, defend us. Otherwise, I've got to learn how to wear a hijab, be one of, 4 or 40 wives of some guy, or maybe be raped by some rape gang. Oh my God, you've got to defend where we live, right? And that's what they said in Europe. Variations on a theme. And when the Christian Crusades went to attack the Muslims, same thing, tit for tat, right? The Muslim women, please, what do you want? You want blowjob? You want falafel? Please, you have to defend us. My God, I'm wearing hijab. I have to learn to wear cross. They're going to rape me. They're going to take our kids. They're going to stop us from worshiping Allah. We have to worship Jesus now. Oh my God, this is so bad. No way. Go fight. Help, right? And that's been true for the last few thousand years of recorded civilization. And the same thing is true today. And it's the same thing when it comes to the small stuff of a drunk on the dance floor acting stupid. The girls typically aren't going to step to him these days. There's a lot more of that going on. But typically the girls are just kind of recoil, get together in a circle, whisper and leave. And all of a sudden the club shut down because some drunk idiot on the dance floor couldn't control themselves, was scaring or bumping into girls, and the girls leave, right? As opposed to a guy getting out of the dance floor, forth. Hey, buddy, calm down, calm down. Oh, you mean calm down? Hey, buddy. I'm really dying for a sandwich. Can you tell me a good sandwich to eat? Sure, I can. I bet you can't. Fuck you, I can't. Well, get over here. Tell me, bring your beer. Come on, just chill out. Just do something to get rid of the drunk on the dance floor. Right? That's your job as a man in a club, with a bunch of other guys there and girls there, right? That's part of your job, part of your responsibilities. So, going from the macro to the micro like that, let's get into what's been happening. So, I first started seeing this in around the spring or May of 2011. Normal Canadian men, and there's echoes of this that are happening sort of around the world, and you can tell, on YouTube videos and so on. But normal Canadian men were brainwashed into sexually harassing each other like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls, forcing you to see them play with their hair, or touch their face, or look at part of their body, or whatever. Normal men, gay-washed, girl-washed, and trans-washed, everything but guy-washed, were brainwashed into sexually harassing each other, trying to get other men to look at them. Now, they're not trying to be good at being girls or good at being women. They're not trying to dress like women. They're not even trying to act like women. Sort of are, but have to speed everything up because there's nothing to look at because they're a guy. They're not trying to get another guy to look at them. So there's nothing to see. It's just sort of annoying, right? And so it was about 5-10% of men, starting in the spring of 2011, around May of 2011, brainwashed into sexually harassing each other like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. And then when they wouldn't look at each other enough because they don't want to pay attention to each other doing this, acting stupid enough, then jealously harassing women. So by that, I mean trying to use women as props to trick other men into looking at them like they're a woman instead of trying to take being a woman seriously, right? So, my attitude, and I've yelled this at him, is drop that tranny like it's NASCAR or just drop it. You take it seriously and then walk slow, look cool, try and feel hot, and see if you can get some guy who's into how you're acting like a girl or whatever, be graceful, be feminine, or just drop it. You can't just spaz out and speed everything up and just get away with bothering people, right? And so guys would try and force other guys, and look at them. This is from 2011 to now 2019, force other guys to look at them. And then when that wasn't working, because it wasn't working well, they didn't want to look at each other that much. They wanted to do it, but didn't want to look at it much. They would jealously harass women. So if a woman was getting attention, you go to a Starbucks, and the woman's there, hey, good afternoon, honey. And she's like, oh, good afternoon, honey. You're a man. You're treating me like a woman. You're being nice and friendly. Oh, I'll smile. I'll be attractive. I'll be graceful, and I'll be charming with you. Guy nearby starts spazzing out, playing with his hair, acting like a rude, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, maybe bumps her out of the way, tries to get that look that you're giving an attractive girl to land on him, because he can never get that look, not even trying to look like a girl or be feminine, but just desperately craving that look. So guys sexually harass each other, don't want to look at each other much, then jealously harass girls. And guys used to follow girls around and then try and trick other idiot guys into looking at them like they're the girl they're following. So walking behind this girl, kind of jealous, bitchy, sketchy guy, jealous, lying, bitchy, sketchy guy. And then if there's other guys nearby, they try and play with their hair. Hey, look at me, like that girl in front of me. Look at me like that girl in front of me. Look at me, right? And what I did in 2011 is I was in Ottawa at the time for a year. I was kind of sick of some BS going on in Toronto, and I'd like, screw this, I'm out of here. I lots of stuff going on, but people can't talk and sucks. And then it keeps getting worse and worse. So I went to Ottawa, and as usual, I just ignore a guy being an idiot. I don't care, right? This guy's an idiot, he's an idiot. Who cares? F off, eh? I'm Canadian. Polite Canadian. Who cares, right? But strange men bothering women is none of their business with other men around, right? So that really kind of stuck in my craw, and I didn't care which one it was. The make, model, and ownership is not important to me. There are Canadian natural resources. There are most precious natural resources. Women's jobs are to put us in a good mood and make babies. That's it. That's their job. Put us in a good mood, both of us, guys and girls and kids, whatever, people, put us in a good mood and make babies. That's the job. Now, They can do lots of other stuff. I'm not saying they can't do lots of other stuff. They can do whatever the hell else they want, right? But that's the main job. Put us in a good mood, make babies. That's it. Now, if they're smart, if they're funny, if they make a lot of money, great, bonus. If they're crabby, they want to watch Amy Schumer, or Aunt Flo visits once a month and they get kind of bitchy and in their feelings or whatever, that's a pain in the ass. But whatever. It is what it is. It's all manageable. So, main job, put us in a good mood, make babies. Everything else is a bonus or a pain in the ass. That's all. Simple, right? And so, in 2011, in Ottawa, I started making a big stink, following guys, following girls, and yelling at everybody else. And Ottawa is not a very big place, but 1 million people. You get to know everybody within a few months, sort of generally. It's got a big city amenities, but a small town vibe. And I'd follow guys, and I'd talk about how stupid this is and bark at everybody else. I didn't really pay attention to the girls at the time. I got more sophisticated later. But yeah, strange men bothering women is none of their business with other men around. And I wanted to prove that it's okay to try and help stop this. I wanted to say, see, that men don't mind, women don't mind, kids don't mind, security guards don't mind, cops don't mind. Even the guy bothering girls doesn't mind. He's a lying bitch begging to be broken. This has happened lots of times throughout history. Lots of our favorite artists, rappers like DMX made a whole career off talking about this, warning us about this. Nobody minds. He's just a bitchy, ugly girl who's happy some man's paying attention and yelling at him for being stupid, right? So nobody minds. Nobody cares. So I tried to make it okay. The cops saw what I was doing. I'd chase them down either on my own or chase them down holding a bottle of Arizona iced tea, in my hand, which makes conversation a lot quicker, And as long as you're fighting for the woman and to not be bothered, then you're okay. Men respect that. You don't want this girl messed up, that's fine. If you're trying to fight with the man who's bothering them and the fight is with him specifically, that's when they can get really pissed. That's when they can get really, really dangerous. You're dealing with big, scary, dangerous, disempowered men, who feel like, they've got nothing going on and nothing to lose. And that's when it can get really, really dangerous. But if you're just fighting to stop him from bothering a girl, then you get respect from that guy and everybody else who's paying attention. If you're just trying to start a fight with the guy, even if it's about that, but if you're focused on him, that's when some of these guys can get really, really dangerous. So, that's something that's good to note. But anyway, so in 2011, it was around 5-10% of guys doing that. The first time I stopped it, I was at the Rideau Center in Ottawa. I was just there to buy basketball shoes. Saw some 6-foot-tall, 190-pound white guy, a little bigger than me, but I don't want to fight with anybody, really. Have to, but otherwise I don't want to. And he was kind of shuffling a little faster than normal with his head down. And there was a chubby, cute brunette who was kind of in front of her, and she was kind of shuffling with her head down. And I saw he was kind of checking her out, but nobody seemed to be happy about this, right? This wasn't some girl relaxed, getting attention from a guy who's relaxed, getting attention, so it's nobody else's goddamn business. This is a girl shuffling along a bit faster than a normal girl walk with her head down, seemingly frustrated. This guy shuffling along behind her. So at the Rideau Center in Ottawa, where I was just there to buy basketball shoes, it's a mall in Ottawa, I just kind of casually went over to the guy, right? The first time I'd seen something like this, specifically, I've done other stuff, but first time I've seen something like this epidemic happening in May of 2011. I just went over to the guy, and I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to embarrass anybody. I didn't want to bother anybody. So I just, looked at him, Canadian man to Canadian man. I was like, hey, excuse me, man, can I talk to you for a sec? And he just turned, from his following this girl and kind of shuffling a little bit bitter and pissy. He kind of looked at me and said, oh, yeah, what's up, man? I was like, and I just kind of kept it low, just off to the side in the mall, other people around, but I just kind of kept it between me and him. I said, hey, look, man, you seem like a decent guy, and it seems like a cute girl, but, you seen what you've seen. Why don't you just let each other have a good day, right? It's all good. Just leave it alone, right? And he just kind of looked at me, and he just kind of laughed. He went, yeah, okay, whatever. He just kind of smirked. That was it. Just done. Didn't want to bother him, just wanted to stop that from happening. Left, done, finished, right? Then I started seeing it happen, several times a day, and then or several times a week, then several times a day. And that's when I started taking action. And the cops made me keep my cell phone on. They'd drive by, I'd be charging it, and it'd be like this, and I'd be like, it's charging. It'd be like this, and I'd be like, whatever. Take it out of the second cup outlet and, keep it on so they could track me. And so that was in Ottawa in 2011. And then in 2012, it was 20 to 30% of men sexually harassing each other and jealously harassing women. And I had enough. I had a great corporate job or whatever and doing well. But I used to stop this at lunch. I see all these guys walking behind girls just by each other. Hey, look at me. No, look at me. No, look at me. We don't want to look at each other, but we really want to get looked at. Look at me. Look at me. I'm using this girl to trick you, but I'm using this girl to trick you. Oh, come on. Come on. Pay attention to me. Acting like a rude, ugly girl. They didn't want to look at each other. Right? So, near Bay and Bloor in downtown Toronto where I worked at a great corporate job, I used to go at lunch and everybody knew. Everybody knows what's happening at all times. People just have trouble talking about this stuff. And so I used to go at lunch and I just yelled at them all and cussed them all out for it. And I eventually stopped it there in that part of the city. When it was only 20-30% of guys sexually harassing each other and jealously harassing girls, the girls were in a good mood. They weren't broken yet. The guys were acting stupider than they wanted to and wanted to stop, right? To this very day, it's basically the same thing. And so, but I got pissed. I got furious, right? So from May through August of 2012, I used to follow guys bothering girls, try to trick other idiot guys into looking at them, and I'd yell at everybody else, right? And in Ottawa, I wasn't sure what was going on. I was just guys bothering girls, thought they might be hopped up too much on porn or whatever. But I figured it out by 2012. A few months later, a year later, I'd figured it out. Keep an eye on the girl. They kind of knew we were cool at that point, and it's better to have some help than none in this mess of people. And so keep an eye on the girl. The guy spazzes out, tries to get looked at like a girl, gets embarrassed and runs away, and the girl's fine, guy's gone. Usually okay, right? Some more extreme cases than others. But from May through August of 2012, I made a big stink. And I was using all sorts of cliches that we all like, and that's why they stick around in terms of men work out and get bigger, women work out and get smaller, and men this, women that, blah, blah, blah. I used music, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You did it inside, outside, Eaton Center, Bay Street, outside, Young College, everywhere, blah, blah, King Street West, all these other places in Toronto. And I basically stopped it because guys stopped looking at other guys acting stupid. You just acted like you were pissed off about it and didn't want to pay attention. And the guy acting like a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, or lying, bitch, begging to be broken, enjoyed being ignored and stopped. And to this very day, I have people pretending to be my rude, sketchy girlfriends spazzing out near me. I ignore it, holding something up or looking away, and they get off on being ignored and they run away. And that's epidemic. It happens all the time. But in 2012, I stopped it from May through August. I tried to get paid to help in different ways because I couldn't say anything. From May through August, I said stuff. Then I'm walking around outside on a beautiful August 2012 day near Yonge and Dundas in the heart of the city. Nothing bad's going on. Just polite Canadian. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, me and guys are cool. Girls make me smile. Kid, hey, kid's not a pain in the ass in public. Hey, thanks, man. Hey, you take it easy, buddy. Hey, nice day, isn't it? Sure is. Nothing to say, nothing to do. Right? Because guys stopped looking at each other acting stupid, and guys acting stupid stopped. Right? And because they stopped, they had no reason to bother girls to trick other guys into looking at them acting stupid, so they stopped. Right? So that was May through August of 2012. I put out 8.5 by 11 flyers, pieces of paper. Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol was a movie that came out around that time. So I made that the name of my mission. I said, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. Nobody can talk about this, but I can talk about this. I had a deeper voice I used as like porcupine quills, my normal voice, and then, hey, what are you doing voice? And then for guys bothering me, or in particular, guys bothering girls, help the guys be a little bit like, okay, well, this guy sounds bigger than he is, or tougher than he is, maybe, or sounds like he could be more of a problem. And the girls were like, well, this guy sounds big enough and tough enough to defend me. He's kind of average height, average weight, average build, but yeah, it's pretty badass. I feel more settled, right? And so I broke all that down, tried to get paid to stop it in other ways, didn't. And it was back by Christmas of 2012. August through Christmas, came back, guys started acting bored, bitchy and sketchy, bothering each other, bothering girls. It's back. Then in 2013, the girls started to break. And they started, for thousands of years, they had a bunch of slow speeds, a million slower and slower and slower and slower speeds to share with nice guys being nice to them, right? The nicer you were, the slower and more relaxing and graceful and attractive they were. To the point where you could go to Chickie Narnia, where a girl could be moving so slow and so deliberately chicknetizing that it's like seeing a space shuttle take off. It's like the atmosphere is all heated. She can't see anything, can't see stuff, family, kids, anything. She can't, just so focused on being just perfectly attractive that you just blew your mind and put you both in a great mood, right? So for thousands of years, they moved slower with, nice guys, and that's how you could tell. And then in the spring of 2013, they started breaking and moving faster and faster and forcing you to look at them or put up with them, right? I remember being on King Street West, typically acknowledgement, avoidance, done, sometimes reassurance, that's all good. And then when she sees you're not going to bother her, flattery. She can be attractive with you, sees you've got other things to do, places to go, people to see, so she can be attractive with you, right? Acknowledgement, avoidance, done, possibly reassurance, done, or possibly flattery, some version of that. So I politely acknowledged and tried to avoid this beautiful blonde girl on King Street West, and she went, ugh, and wiped her nose from her knuckles to her elbows to try and force me to see her look ugly. And I went, whoa, this is awful. It's bad enough when guys do it, but it's like a bagel versus a stale bagel as opposed to chocolate cake and dog shit and chocolate cake. It's just, you expect more possible with a girl to be attractive and nice and get you off some serious stuff so you can both get on some chilled out or fun stuff. And then the fall off is worse, right? So, but in 2013, the girls started breaking. And so from guys busting each other's balls, like pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriends, that's bad enough. But there's a certain threat involved there, bigger guys bullying each other and so on and yada, 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 and bullying girls and kids and making everyone put up with and act like them. And so, it's tough, but you can get more of a pass for that. And then when the girls break, when you have smaller creatures near you, that are busting your balls. They're a mess. They're forcing you to put up with them. They're making you feel impotent. That's even worse for your balls because you're in a position of responsibility to make sure you're cool, other people are cool, and where you live is cool. So it's even worse for your balls. Plus, guys will be big, ugly, scary, sketchy, bitchy dogs. Just scare the crap out of you, damn near kill you both to try and force you to see them look ugly, right? But women won't be as physically intimidating when it comes to doing that, but they'll do it more often because they always want attention. And if the only attention they want is lying, bitchy, sketchy, ball-busting attention, that really grinds your balls to sawdust. And I was warning people about this. I was like, you don't understand. You might just be like, whatever, you don't know her, who cares? Eventually, your girl and kid will break in this mess and they'll break you. Blowback's a bitch, right? So you're a cop, making $100,000 a year. You got to make sure you're cool. Other people are cool. No problem. You got to do that. People generally respect that. Cool. But if your wife goes to work on Bay Street and she's constantly, dealing with guys who are who she can't be nice to because they get jealous, like jealous, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. And she can't be mean to because then they resent women for being bitches and they think, oh, women are bitches and this and that. So she's kind of screwed. She's got no defense against, guys messed up like that. And then, she's constantly dealing with men kind of jealously harassing her to trick other idiot men into looking at him like he's a girl, getting all frazzled. Then that blowback will eventually make it home. So if you're a cop, you're making $100,000 a year, your wife works on Bay Street in the financial district in Toronto, she makes $100,000 a year, you're doing well as a couple and as a family. When she gets home from work and she's on the couch bitching and sketching and making you feel impotent and you're like, what the fuck? Eventually that'll break your balls, right? And that goes in general for men and women out there, right? If a 6 foot tall, 200-pound guy, tries to attack me and force me to see him look like a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, there's a certain threat, a certain intimidation. I've ignored it for 8 years, but I get it, right? And that's bad for you. But it's a much bigger, stronger guy, If a 5 foot tall, 100-pound girl attacks me and tries to force me to see her look ugly, it's like, bitch, you crazy? I'd kill you or kill somebody for you. This is not right. This is wrong. You shouldn't be attacking a grown-ass man who's 70 pounds heavier and almost a foot taller. But really bad for your balls. So this is how This is what's been happening from 2011 until 2019. So girls started breaking in 2013, 14, 15, 16. Bad stuff happens. 2017, people have a lot of trouble. Most people have a lot of trouble forcing strangers to see them look ugly. So they start running like zombies, spazzing out near people, bumping into people. I'm filming it with my laptop everywhere. Nobody minds. People don't like it. People think it's bad. People think it should stop. And if they want to help stop it, fine. But people have trouble talking about it. People have trouble discussing it. And this is not stuff on the internet. This is stuff happening just a few feet away from your face. I was with a group of patriots the other day, and it was happening right here, and I was holding something up to avoid it, and I was like, see that? People can't talk about that. And he's like, what are you talking about? That guy that just ran up, spazzing out, trying to force me to see him look ugly, and then getting off on being ignored and running away. That thing that happened just a few feet away from us. Can't discuss it. It's just, yeah, I know, I'll do it too. That's how I act when things are messed up and I can't talk about them, like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls, right? So it becomes a self-fulfilling thing, where generally stuff you can't talk about, act like a rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady, or pretend wife or girlfriend, ball-busting and egg-scrambling mess. And then that itself becomes part of that process, where if you say, hey, guys started sexually harassing each other, when they wouldn't look at each other, they started jealously harassing girls, guys would be like, oh, I know what that stuff is. Rude, ugly girl, look at me, look at me, look at me, rude, ugly girl, rude, ugly girl, I know what you're talking about. You know, that's how they talk. That's how people are being turned into zombies, basically, as opposed to nice, polite ladies and gents who can teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and make sure they live in a better place tomorrow than they do today. That's how people are being turned to zombies, to make the opposite of that happen as part of the globalist scientific dictatorship, trying to turn people into sheep or zombies who can never rebel again, maybe control or kill off a bunch and replace some of the people you don't need with artificial intelligence, while keeping some around who you do need to keep your rich guy lifestyle going, right? Super rich at the very top. Not normal businessmen employing people, paying their taxes, doing a good job, but the super rich kind of satanic evil elites who don't trust each other and definitely don't trust the rest of us and are worried that they'll be found out. So that's the permanent scientific dictatorship. And that gets us from 2011 to 2019, the spring of 2019, the last 8 years of people being turned to zombies and how to beat that. And so, you know, again, the title of this video is Men Defending Women from Them and Other Men Acting Badly Starts Small and Happens Every Single Day. This is the sort of main mission. Now, it doesn't mean you do whatever they say, because, you know, they don't look into what they say much, right? Or who's behind it or whatever, or stuff. Women are more group-thinky. They're more like the zebras. They all want to wear the same stripes that are in fashion to sort of fit in with each other, whereas men can be more individual. It's more testosterone, more balls, more this, raised to be more whatever. If you've got an all-boys school with 1,000 guys and an all-girls school with 1,000 girls, you'll have 500 of those guys try to climb over the wall and get to the all-girls school, but you may have 50 of those 1,000 girls or 100 of those 1,000 girls, a fraction of the amount when it comes to the boys who try and climb over the walls and get to the all-boys school, right? Guys are more individual and aggressive like that. So at the end of this process of you know, our balls and eggs being destroyed, and that's why at manforwars.com I'm pushing for bigger balls and unscrambled eggs. I want to get the balls rolling, get the eggs sighted, make sure people feel more confident and can communicate better, as opposed to making it harder and harder to. It seems like the only empowered men right now are big, bitchy trans bullies, right? The kind of guys that can publicly force you to put up with them acting like rude, lying, bitchy, ugly girls, as opposed to the ones that kind of do it secretly, the big open secret that people do and put up with and make everyone act like every day, which is no longer a dirty little secret. For the last 8 years, it's been getting worse and worse in public, everywhere, all day and all night. And that's why people, hey, how's it going, Bob? Oh, good, Dave. No, rude, ugly girl. Look at me. No, rude, ugly girl. Look at me. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. They run away from each other and then wander around trying to force strangers to see them look ugly, as opposed to paying attention to each other because they're not doing that, right? So now the only empowered men out there as part of this process are big, lying, bitchy, ugly, trans bullies. Not someone who's good at being straight, not someone that's good at being gay, not someone that's even good at being trans, but somebody that wants to bully everyone else into putting up with or tolerating them or paying attention to them. And they're like a cry bully. There's somebody who's like, I'm such a mess if you don't agree to this. Don't agree to let a guy who looks like a guy, still has his penis, still has his balls, just puts on a little pink scrunchie and calls himself a girl, and he's 6'5", 250 pounds, and he's like, I'm a trans woman. You have to let me enter this weightlifting competition. Meanwhile, the 5'5", 130-pound girl is like, this isn't fair. You're 6'5", 250 pounds. You're not even trying to be good at being a woman. No, you have to let me in. You have to let me in. I'm a trans woman. This is a female penis. These are female hairy balls. This is a big female beard. This is female chest hair. I'm as good as any other woman. Fine, fine, fine. Just win the trans weightlifting competition. That's an exaggerated example of a man who's bad at being a man or a woman, bad for other adults, bad for kids, bad for society in general, bullying their way into making everyone put up with them. And so that very public example talked about in the media is a representation of what many normal men are doing these days to each other and to women and children where they live as part of a plan to destroy and control it. And that's part of the globalist brainwashing. So that's why this is so important, because women know, a lot of women, they hate other women, right? If they admire them, then they're jealous. If they hate them, it's because they're an ugly bitch, right? And so a lot of women hate other women. Women who've worked with other women, women who've had female bosses, women who've worked with a whole bunch of women in a certain environment can talk about how women get all bitchy and catty. And if you add a big man balls, big man back, big man brain to that, you have an even more aggro version of a normal bitchy ugly girl, right? Girls typically don't want to fight with someone who wants to be a bitch, who enjoys it, because that's just more of a fight, right? They like fighting more than you do, so that's that. And then if you take that same female and turn it into a male, possibly part rapist, pedophile, pervert who can rape a girl, but also part big, bitchy, ugly girl, like a big, bitchy, ugly girl that she would normally fight with, it's even worse, right? So that's what's happened to men to destroy other men and women and children, bust each other's balls. And that's why it's best if you can ignore it, right? I've been hanging out with patriots recently and other guys, and when guys don't do that, when they don't act like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls, then they can respect each other and they can communicate well, right? So if you just ignore it, hey, put up, no, looking away. No. Oh, so we're not going to do that? No, you're not going to do that to me? I don't have to do that to you? No. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, we can respect each other, right? And then once in a while, if something comes up, nobody wants to torture you with it, but there's the odd nose wipe to make a point, or this or whatever, thing, but they're not trying to force you to put up with it or torture you with it or make you look at it a lot, you can ignore that. It's a nervous tick. It's a nervous twitch. It's nothing. It's only when they get used to that and replace talking with that, because they don't respect people, people don't respect them, so why bother paying attention to each other, and you have to force people to put up with you, that's when they run into a hell of a lot more trouble. So that's something I recommend to kind of deal with this stuff there when it comes to men and anybody doing this in general, right? So that's the first part, is from 2011 to 2019, what's happening. Just like in golf, play the ball where it lands, or play the balls where they've landed. We're here now. What do we do, right? So, and again, this video is called Men Defending Women from Them and Other Men Acting Badly. Starts small, and it happens every single day. So here's how it starts small, right? And again, this is part of the overall brainwashing. It takes a while to get guys, doing this, acting like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. It's a process, right? And so reversing that process will also be a process, but typically lying bitches begging to be broken. DMX on his song X Gonna Give It To You. First we go to rock, then we gonna roll, then we let it pop, go, let it go. X gonna give it to you, he gonna give it to you. That's all about this. DMX is, and that's from the movie Deadpool recently as well. You mother effers never wanted nothing but your life saved, bitch, and that's on a light day. He talks about walking around encountering bitchy guys, helping him stop. On his song, y'all go make me lose my mind. Up in here, it's all about that. on a song, Rough Riders Anthem. Stop, drop, open up shop, whoa, whoa, as a Rough Riders roll. All about this. Most of his songs are about this. And most of classic hip-hop from the 80s, 90s is all about this, right? It's all about this stuff. And modern artists make songs about this. Kendrick Lamar's song, Element. If I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'm gonna make it look sexy. If I gotta go hard in a bitch, I'm gonna make it look sexy. I pull up, hop out, air out, made it look sexy. They won't take me out my element. Nah, take me out my element. Right? That's all about this. Exactly what I've been doing in terms of mixing it up in the public here and there, sometimes on video, getting it documented. They won't take me out my element, right? They won't make me unable to talk about this or anything else as part of that process, or make me not cool for myself or others or where I live. I can do the opposite of that as part of this. So that's a recent song by Kendrick Lamar that just came out last year based on this. Drake's song Energy, like people have made stuff about this, and lots of political leaders, religious figures, and so on have warned about this for thousands of years, right? So it's a pretty normal thing to happen to people, to get brainwashed or confused into acting like this, and it's a pretty normal thing to find a variety of responses. So it's not unusual, it's just people respond and get out of it, or people are screwed. Simple as that, right? So guys out there, make sure you respect each other, otherwise you won't. And then you won't have self-respect, and you'll be a mess, and you won't get any respect for that, and you won't be able to make sure anybody else is not a mess, because you are a mess when it comes to other men or women and children, and you won't get any respect for that. And the only goddamn thing you want is respect. Everything else is whatever, bonus or pain in the ass. And so all that's off the table unless you stop acting like and putting up with this lying, bitchy, sketchy mess, right? So the sort of origin story of this partly is feminism. And I'm not against women doing this and women doing that and women whatever. I'm against them seeing men as the enemy and being brainwashed into doing so. Because as a man, I know it's my responsibility to help women do stuff. Right? Now, if she goes at my balls, then I got to cut her or cut her off. Now, I don't want to cut a bitch for no reason, so I got to cut her off. Just whatever. Nope, forget it. Right? But otherwise, it's my responsibility, right? Hey, you want to go skydiving? Got to help you skydive. You want to become a lawyer? Got to help you become a lawyer. You want to cross the street? Got to help you cross the street. You want to do this? Got to help you do that. Make it easier for you. Move stuff out of the way. Whatever, right? So it's a core responsibility. And the idea of attacking somebody who's responsible for making sure they're cool and you're cool and kids are cool and everyone's cool and where you live is cool is part of the original sin of feminism. And feminism was promoted by super rich people through their foundations and activist organizations and indie universities specifically to do this, to divide and conquer us. So that instead of seeing the super rich evil people as the enemy, trying to confuse and divide and conquer and control us, we're supposed to see each other as the enemy, right? So if my girl's like to me, oh, men suck, men this, men that, it's like, no. Men inspired by nice, attractive women kick some ass for you. That's what we do. That's our job. It's like, well, then who told me this? Rich, stupid, evil people told you that. We'll get into it a little bit if you want. Otherwise, we'll get you the hell out of it, and we have to deal with it. Finished. Done. You want to fight? You're going to lose. Right? So don't. Finished. But men this, men something. No. I've had young feminist girls talking to me. Well, what about this? What about the patriarchy? I'm like, no, I think it's great. What about male privilege? I think it's a privilege to hang out with a beautiful young lady like you, and I think it's a privilege for you to hang out with a gentleman like me. So if there is any male privilege, that's my male privilege. And I love it. I love it. I love being a male who's privileged to be able to get along with other guys who want to be cool, get along with women and children that want to be nice. Absolute privilege. And I think by having that type of privilege and confidence, I can be a privilege for you to hang out with. What else you got? And so, and feminist girls, or girls brainwashed, maybe not super hardcore, but girls who've heard some of this crap in university recently, girls early 20s, mid 20s, instead of being up and in my face with some of these things, they start to relax and get more graceful and thoughtful. Instead of an up girl in my face picking a fight, I get a relaxed, graceful, confident, attractive girl who's looking away a bit, and I can see how attractive she is. She's slumping a bit, letting her boobs pop forward a bit. I can see how attractive, notice, not look, but notice how attractive her boobs are. She's sticking her hip out a bit. And she turns from an up girl in my face who wants to fight with me to, oh, you're one of those guys. Okay. Fine. I'll just be a relaxed, cute, thoughtful girl. Just go back and forth about stuff. Not talk too much or too loud or too fast or argue for no stupid reason. Fine, buddy. That's the way it's got to be. That's the way it's got to be. And I get these feminist brainwashed girls in my face, chilling out, relaxing, being attractive, good company. And me, obviously, at that point, smile. Girls make me smile since I was a kid. It's all good. Smile. Notice you're a girl. Of course, it's your job, right? As long as we're nice to each other. Well, screw it. Don't bother, right? And that's more what's happening today. So, broadly and philosophically speaking, that's a framework. And as part of that framework, you can't let women be a mess. You can't let them be a mess for themselves or for you to put up with, because that is a sign of your impotence, right? And it gets to the point where men are feeling so impotent today. I had a buddy tell me about his wife went somewhere to see a doctor, and there was a bunch of teenage girls there, 13, 14, 15, who were there for breast reduction surgery. Now, not all of them had huge breasts. Some of them were very, very flat. But these girls were going for breast reduction surgery because it's the current fashion, especially without good male and female role models. Then, of course, your boy's going to be like, screw this, I want to be a girl. Man sucks. My dad sucks, right? And girls are like, screw this, I want to be a man. My mom sucks. He sucks at it, right? They suck at it. They don't look like they're happy. They don't look like they can make anybody else happy. So I want to switch, right? And my buddy's telling me that his wife heard through an open door a 14-year-old girl who was relatively flat. She didn't have that big boobs, for just a 14-year-old girl. She wasn't like, some cases are extreme, I get, but in most of these cases, these girls didn't have extremely large breasts for their age or period. They actually had small ones, but they were going in there for breast reduction surgery anyway. And so the female doctor hands the paperwork. Okay, well, here's the paperwork, here's the legal stuff, here's some of the details on the procedure, on the operation, and there's a father bringing his 14-year-old daughter to this plastic surgeon woman, doctor, for breast reduction surgery, and the doctor hands the paperwork to the father, and the father says, that's not me, that's her thing. That's all he says. That's not me, that's her thing. About his 14-year-old daughter. No, I'm not touching that stuff. That's not me. That's her thing. That's what she's into. I don't know. Nothing to do with it. Just sure, whatever. Right? So the doctor goes, oh, I'm sorry, and hands all that paperwork, the legal stuff, the pros and cons of the operation, the risks involved, all that stuff, hands it to the 14-year-old daughter. Now that's a complete abdication of responsibility that this father has towards his 14-year-old daughter. Complete, utter, and grotesque abdication of responsibility. And that happened in the last couple of weeks by my recollection of talking with my buddy about this. And that is an example of men just making woman's a mess. It's the way she feels. It's what she is. It's whatever. Could be my wife. Could be a female friend or colleague or family member. Could be my 14-year-old daughter. It's nothing to do with me. Right? You can't do that because you'll feel impotent if you do that. Right? Not important, impotent. So when it comes to defending women from them or other men acting badly, it starts off really small. Right? And that is, you never, ever, ever let that happen. You never, ever, ever let your woman be a mess. You're not necessarily mad at her for being a mess. It's an option, but it's not the default. You're mad at the fact that she's a mess. The fact that something pissed her off, or something's pissing her off, or someone's pissing her off, or she's got some bad ideas making her a mess. That is what you're upset about. So it's not like, I can't believe you're a mess, you're such a stupid bitch, you're such a this. I can't believe something messed you up like that. This is ridiculous. This is insane. I've got my Batman lantern jaw going. I'm so furious. I'm going, Stella, who pissed you off like this? I can't believe someone did this to you. Like that's, women will be like, whoa, you're taking me super seriously. Possibly more seriously than I take myself. That's insane. And so they'll respect you more for that. So as part of the framing versus feminism and some of these other bad ideas, you've got to take that seriously, where you say, I cannot let you be a mess near me if I can clean that up. Now, if she got hit by a car and she's on the ground bleeding, you've got to help her out. But you can't technically do the surgery at that point. You've got to make sure she's comfortable. You've got to wait for the ambulance. But pretty much in all situations, you can be helpful as opposed to impotent, and because that's the source of why guys are messed up, right? And it's always your responsibility to always be a confident masculine man with confident masculine strength that can meet and confirm the same. Be cool with other guys. Don't lie. Look a man in the eye. Stay polite and busy or friendly to be respected. Be out of the way and on your way. Straight up. You don't have to be straight, but you got to be straight up with other guys. You can't intimidate each other or mess with each other or make each other uncomfortable or mess with women or children. You can't do any of that stuff. You won't get any respect. You'll just have to be a bully who can get away with feeling power by bullying people, but can never feel any respect. So you can't actually feel good. You could just dive deeper and deeper into a hole where you have no self-respect, nobody can respect you, and nobody really wants to pay attention to you or listen to you or take you seriously, and then you just have to bully people more and more into putting up with you. So it's your responsibility to constantly make sure that women and children are okay. Doesn't mean you do whatever they say, but you make sure they're okay. And so this is as simple as the sort of environment you're in. You're always responsible for opening a door, for help if she's nice. If she's not nice, these days not fashionably nice, then you have to keep your self-respect. Otherwise you'll be a mess for somebody else, right? So if she's not nice, you don't have to be mean back, but you can't be nice back because you wouldn't have any self-respect. And that's why so many people are not nice to each other, because there's no point in being nice if someone's going to be not nice to you. So people just don't respect each other. They just force you to put up with them acting bitchy when it comes to their body language or when it comes to what they're saying, or they're quiet people because they don't respect each other enough to talk, but they mess with each other quietly like bitchy, sketchy, ugly people, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly people who lie or don't admit it and get embarrassed and feel guilty and ashamed. They just argue. Right? And you'll see that. You'll see people who used to be nice to each other and talk to each other, just quiet, and then exploding into arguments because they're constantly resentful of each other being bitchy. Right? So the exact opposite of that is putting women on a pedestal, and that's what a man can do, is put a woman on a pedestal, and then if they screw around, just shaking it a bit. Right? This is everything I have to give you. All day and all night, anytime, anywhere. Now you screw around, it's gone. But if you don't, it's all yours. You can have the whole damn world. We just have to manage it carefully. Make sure you don't trip over things, bump into things, something breaks, we have to fix it, whatever. Oh, the whole place is yours. Enjoy it. Have fun. Make it fun. Right? You just have to manage it carefully. And so, it starts off small with every little thing. Right? So, for example, if you're at a table having lunch with a girl at a restaurant or whatever, at your place or whatever, if there's a glass or a wine bottle or something near the edge of the table, you just move it close to the middle of the table. It's there. It's a source of tension. Any of us think that it might fall off the table or we might bump into it. So just move it closer. If that's there, move it over there. If that's there, move it over there. If it's this, go like that. If it's that, do this. All these little things constantly around the female to make sure she's fine. If it's crossing the street, you keep her attention and you take care of all the other things. Car there. Nope, keep your attention. Nope, I got this. Me and this guy in the car, he might be lurching forward, but I looked at him, he looked at me. He's not going to do that. Don't worry about it. Right? Going over, see that person over there? Don't worry about it. See this over there? See everything? Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Right? Keep your attention on me. Focus on what I'm saying, what I'm doing, what we're doing. And like a cute little helium balloon, sometimes you got to walk around when I'm not around or a man's not around. And you can't really look at the city. You can't really enjoy yourself. You can't feel attractive and graceful and walk slow, look cool, try and feel hot and whatever. Nope. That here, done. That's it. None of this crap is your business. Right? None of this stuff is your business. Right? It's all my business. And I've done this with pretty much every woman who's been nice for pretty much my entire life, right? From my girlfriends, same thing. From my female boss when I worked in the corporate world, same thing, right? She's got, hey, let's go out for lunch. Let's catch up on what you've been up to. Like, sure. Like, fine. Leave the office. All these people, my responsibility. She's my boss. A brilliant, beautiful woman. Learned a lot from her. Respect her tremendously. But when it comes to all this crap, none of her business, right? None of her business going here, none of her business crossing the street, none of her business doing everything. You're constantly reacting to everything that's going on, making sure none of your business, none of your business, none of your business. Focus on the conversation we're having, how nice a day it is, where we're going, what we're going to order for lunch. Then we get to lunch and she can bust my balls over this and that. Something's going good, something's not going good. She's my boss, no problem. Whatever, nice lunch, nice to catch up on what's been going on in a more in-depth way and have a good lunch with each other. Great. On the way back to work, same thing. All this stuff is my business. My buddy, who's been married to his wife for a long time, she said to him fairly recently, she's like, hey, when we're going up the stairs, you're always kind of a little bit beside and behind me, right? And you're always a little bit beside and behind me. And then when we get to the top of the stairs and there's a door there, you're somehow magically in front of me and opening the door. And then when we're walking somewhere, you're kind of always kind of near me and beside me and behind me a little bit. But then when it comes to speed up and you get the door and you keep doing that. And she goes, why do you do that? My buddy's wife asked him, right? And he goes, well, just make sure you don't fall, make sure you don't struggle with a heavy door, make sure you're fine wherever we go. And she goes, I just noticed that. She goes, how long have you been doing that? He goes, the whole time we've been together. My whole life, really. She goes, really? I'm like, yeah, really. She goes, so wait a minute. Every time we go somewhere, every single time, married for several years, this has been going on? He goes, yep. Really? Yep. Every single time. Yep. No. Yep. Every time we go anywhere. Anytime we're together. This is constantly my focus. She goes, oh, wow. She was impressed. She was happy, right? And sometimes they won't notice. As long as they don't start no shit, you have some respect for it. If they give you more respect for it and they're appreciative, great. But as long as they don't start no shit, then you can have self-respect and be respected by the fact that she's in a better mood than not doing that stuff. And so that's what I mean about it starting small. It's every little thing. Every single little thing, every single day. And men want to feel useful and women want to feel special. You can ask any of them. They might be acting stupid, as is the fashion, lying, bitchy, and sketchy. But if you ask them, this is, what they understand. This is what they believe. This is true. I've done it for years, on and off, and it's still true to this day. So this is how you can constantly feel useful, and women can constantly feel special. And if people start effing around, you just take it away. You say, nope. No more chivalry and courtesy. No more nice guy making a nice world for a nice girl. Or the girl can go, no more nice girl making a nice world for a nice guy. Gone. Right? In the current culture, where we're all supposed to be gender equal, gender neutral, equality, we need more equality. We have to be corporate clones and commie zombies, all the same, everybody the same. Even kids call each other comrade in school. Don't say boy or girl. Don't say boy or girl on paperwork. Government of Canada, don't say boy or girl. Don't say sir or ma'am. Don't say men and women. Don't say father or mother. Unless you decide to switch genders, then we've got to take you super seriously. So if you're a little boy or a girl, if you're a parent out there, you raise them in a little gray bag, gender neutral, gender equal. Don't raise them to be a boy or a girl. Let them decide. But if your boy wants to be a girl, oh, take it so seriously. Get him a dress, get him makeup, get him Barbies. Oh, take it seriously. Do everything that would make a girl happy if your boy wants to turn into one. And if your girl wants to turn into a boy, get him Tonka trucks, get him construction stuff, get him a hard hat, get him, everything that makes a boy happy. Get him dirty, let him play in the mud. But if your boy wants to be a boy, don't take any of that seriously, right? So this is total bullshit, right? You should give men and women and kids, boys and girls, a chance to do what they like and a chance to be appreciated for being boys and girls, for being useful and special, for being masculine and feminine, for being strong and for being vulnerable, for being strong and cute, right? I was just joking around with a boy and a girl the other day, family, friends related and so on. And I was joking, no, they're making the boys bigger and stronger and faster. This next generation is coming up. They're taking over. They're bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. And I was freaking out on a little boy, and he was laughing. Yeah, we're better than you. We're going to be better than you. Yeah, we're badass. I'm a badass boy. And then when it comes to his sister there, I turned because I want to give them both this similar attention. And I was like, they're making the girls, they're bigger and stronger and faster and cuter and funner. And she started smiling at that point because she doesn't necessarily want to be bigger, stronger, faster. She doesn't want to be not, but that's not what gets her going. But I said, they're making the girls bigger and stronger and faster and smarter and cuter and funner. Oh, and she smiled at that, right? So you should encourage that. By not having that to offer, you don't have that to take away either, right? Now, you can be as a guy. You can get away with being bitch, miserable, bitchy man, miserable, quiet, hypersensitive, lying, bitchy man. And you can have girls be empathetic, trying to get you in a good mood. Oh, it's going to be okay. I'm a girl. I can make anyone happy, blah, blah, blah. But you can't get respect for it. And you can't make sure you're happy or she's happy. You can only con some girl into being nice to you because you're a mess. But eventually, you're going to have to deal with you being a mess and her being a mess as part of that, and your impotent inability to not do anything about that. So it's a temporary con job. You might be able to get away with it, but ultimately, it's bullshit, and blowback's a bitch. So make sure you have on the table the opportunity to be cool with other guys and cool for women and kids, and have the opportunity to take that away. I can make life a lot easier, or I can not. I won't necessarily make it harder unless I'm really pushed, but I can always make it easier, or I won't. That's that, right? That's how you keep your balls as part of this process. That comes to sort of defending women from themselves and from everything else. Now, when it comes to defending women from other men, I mentioned some of the bitchy, sketchy man epidemic out there, where guys sexually harass each other, like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls. But because they don't want to look at each other enough, they jealously harass women and try and trick other men into looking at them like they're an actual female human being who's, either naturally one or who's at least trying to look like one. And so, this is sort of the modern original sin. This is what I tried to get out in 2011 and 2012 especially, but since then in a variety of ways, make its music, busking, having websites, having everybody be cool. I just wanted to make it easy for most people, civilians, for the media, politicians, for security, for police, for the military, for intelligence agencies, for all of these people to sort of see what's going on, see the kind of problem it is, see what some possible solutions are, and do something about it. See how nobody minds, see how it's cool, see how people want something different, even if we're all kind of brainwashed into turning into lying, bitchy, sketchy, commie zombies or corporate clones, making each other uncomfortable, too uncomfortable to do anything except for make each other uncomfortable. See how, people appreciate a response to that, right? So even if I can't do it myself, I can show everybody else that people are into this. People don't like what's going on, even though they have trouble talking about it, don't want to talk about it, do anything about it. They don't like it, and they like the fact that somebody's trying to stop it. They like it in a mall like Toronto's Eaton Centre with 5,000 people there. People like it, men, women, kids, security guards, cops. I've been asked a couple of questions when I've been vlogging. I've answered them, tried to be cool. If ignoring people acting rude put me in too much of a good mood, because it does, like hanging up on rude telemarketers, hope it doesn't happen, but it'll make you more confident, make you more happy, make you feel like you have self-respect. Ignoring people acting rude puts you in a good mood. So if I get in too much of a good mood and I talk too loud or too fast or too much whatever, and I'm chilled out a bit by somebody, security cop or whatever, totally reasonable, totally fine. We can all slip and we can all check each other. No issues at all there. It should be happening all over the place. And so when it comes to defending women from themselves, I went through that. When it comes to from themselves acting badly or other men acting badly, part of that is keeping an eye on them and having that be something that you always feel like you can do and you will do and you possibly are doing, right? That is part of your overall confidence. I was at a construction site, working there, figuring out some guys. I've worked in strip clubs, figure out girls, and I've also worked at different places, but there's a real concentrated element of masculinity at a construction site and femininity at a strip club. Guys getting credit for what they're doing, working hard, blah, blah, blah. Girls getting credit for what they're being attractive, being good company, and that's really what we want. Guys want credit for, I did this, I said this, I'm a badass, blah, blah. Girls want credit for, it's nice to have a nice girl here. You're going to be nicer. She makes the place nicer, whatever, right? There's a double standard there. So more sense of credit for what you're doing versus credit for what you're being is a male-female dynamic thing. At the construction site, I was reading an article from Now magazine, and it was an experiment I did with about a dozen construction workers. They knew I'm cool, guy's guy, a lot of world. I like women, but as a man who likes women, I don't like putting any pressure on them. I don't take no shit. I don't give them no shit, right? I don't like putting any pressure on them. I'm nice. They put pressure on themselves to be nice. They want to do more? Great. Not good enough for us. That's all I care about, right? That's it. Don't want to put any pressure on them. If you're nice and they put pressure on themselves to be nice, done. Finished, right? More? You want to do more? Great. You don't? Fine. I don't care. It's nice. Good mood. Done. Finished, right? So, but as a guy's guy, as a man's man, the guys know I'm cool, so they were party to a lot of my experiments and my ways of thinking differently and my making music about this stuff, like lots of people were, right? Everyone's sort of a party to it, even if people have trouble discussing it because of the common fashion where men aren't supposed to say anything about other guys. Definitely can't say anything about women. You're not a woman. Can't say anything about kids, even if you're a dad. Well, it's the woman's job. She's got them in all these activities, right? And men are not supposed to say anything about anything, right? So when I ask a man, hey, how are your kids? He's like, what? How are your children? They are your children, aren't they? They are important to you. We have worked together for a while. We know each other well. It is a normal thing to talk about, right? You can talk about it with other guys. It's not just her, your wife, talking about it with her friends. You can talk about your kids with other men, and you can find a cheaper place to buy hockey equipment than she might be able to, right? For your kids, right? And it's just weird. Guys are like, what? Oh, yeah, I guess I should be able to talk about my kids. Yeah, but it's... Men are so disempowered by disempowering each other, acting like rude, lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly women, and not respecting each other for that, not respecting women and kids they jealously harass for not respecting anybody acting like a human, normal, nice, polite, friendly, concentrating on something, just wanting to annoy them and distract them and force them to look at you for no reason, so you both feel worse about it because there's nothing to pay attention to. All of that contributes to men being completely disempowered with other men and with women and children and having nothing to say, not having any self-respect or showing or getting any. And so, within this framework, running some experiments, I asked a dozen construction workers, right, to sort of stay with me and look at this article, right? And I kind of skimmed through this article from the Now magazine here in Toronto, which is a left-wing publication that focuses on arts and culture and food. And this article was titled hashtag rape culture. What should we do about it? Right? And it's from a left-wing feminazi perspective. And they were talking about women in that article who felt like they'd been raped. Maybe it wasn't rape, but maybe they just were mad at the guy for not calling her the next day or whatever. And even if it wasn't rape that could be proved legally, should they still put these guys' names up on the internet and shame them publicly, even if they weren't officially guilty or found guilty by a court of law with a jury of their peers? Just, well, should we? Well, I don't know if I want to go through all that hassle as a girl, and I don't know if I'll be able to convict them, but it sure felt like rape to me now that I don't like him because I had no self-respect. He didn't have self-respect. We didn't respect each other, and we had sex because we were young and horny, but now I'm not so happy about it, so let's call it rape, right? And there's real cases or realer cases, and there's fake cases, but it was an article about hashtag rape culture. And as part of that article about hashtag rape culture, I was reading this article to the guys, not the whole thing, but skimming through it. And the guys, a dozen men at a construction site, big badass dudes, were pissed off at me. Right? Dude, what are you doing? No, hold on, man. Let me just get through this and get to my point. Stop reading this to me. Just hold on, man. I know it sucks. It really sucks. You're getting your manties in a bunch. Your underwears, your balls are shrinking. They're jumping into your stomach. They're running and hiding from this bullshit. I know people write that stuff, but I hate it. Don't make me put up with it. I know, man. Hold on. Just let me finish. Let me get to my point about this. I don't want to read no goddamn hashtag rape culture, calling us all rapists, all potential rapists. We suck and blah, blah, blah. And we should be embarrassed and ashamed and blah, 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 blah. I know, man. I know. Just hold on. Let me finish this little experiment with you, right? I did this with a dozen guys. And I got to the end of the article. And at the end of the article, after skimming through it, it says, so one of the solutions is we should teach being more gender equal or gender neutral at school, at home, and at work. And the guy's killing me. Yes, equal. Yes, I'm a messed up girl. I know I've got to think like this hashtag rape culture article. I've got to think like this about me and about other guys and how crappy the world is and there's nothing we can do. It sucks. Dude, I'm going to fucking kill you in a second if you keep shoving this shit in my face. I'm like, I know, hold on, man. Hold on. But what if we replace gender equal and gender neutral with gender responsible? Gender responsible. Not gender equal, so everyone's an equally messed up girl. Not gender neutral, so everyone's a neutrally messed up girl. But gender responsible. So you have to be responsible to make sure you're not a messed up girl and nobody else acts like a messed up girl. Not gender equal, not gender neutral, gender responsible. And what if we say, as part of being gender responsible, don't worry, ladies, don't worry, ladies. We'll stop hashtag rape culture with a punch in the face if we have to. Love, men. That's gender responsible. The same rape culture bullshit for this 700-word article. The same rape culture solution. We need to educate people. But instead of being equal and neutral and equally and neutrally messed up by this situation, you are gender responsible. Right? And I did this with a dozen guys. And they all looked at me like a light clicked on. Wait a second. I'm not an equally messed up, gender neutral, bitchy girl over the state of the world and what's going on in this issue. I'm responsible. So what does that mean? That means no way, man. I know girls. My mom's a girl. My sister's a girl. My girl's a girl. I've got family. I've got nieces. I've got friends that are girls. Screw this. If anybody tried to rape one of those girls, I'd fucking kill him. Fucking kill him. Fuck that. I'm responsible for making sure this shit doesn't happen. Fuck that. Responsible. Gender responsible. Got each of these dozen guys. Light goes off in their head. Right? Just ding. Wait a minute. I'm not a victim of this way of thinking. I'm responsible for making sure this shit doesn't happen. Right? Just boom. Stand taller. Balls inflate. Yeah. Even if these women are bitching about that in this hashtag rape culture article, and they're trying to say promote gender equal or neutral. No. I'm responsible. That means if I'm here on the construction site and there's a female construction worker or whatever who's part of this, and I see something happening over there, I'm going over with my friggin' hammer and I'm hammering that guy in the fucking face for messing with that girl. That's responsible. Not equal, we're all messed up. Yeah, we're all messed up. Oh, men suck. No, not gender equal or neutral, gender responsible, right? And so, as part of that, as part of this process, feeling like you can be responsible for being a better man than the media and education and entertainment and pop culture and so on are supposed to make you out to be, is part of defending your own balls and your own ego, and women, and other men, frankly, from this type of brainwashing, right? And kids, of course, right? Feeling like you're responsible. So they can say all that shit about some guys, but you don't have to feel like a messed up girl who's pissed off at messed up guys for messing with them. You are on the other side of that equation. You are responsible for making sure this shit doesn't go down where you are or where you live. So we can take all this exact same bullshit that bitches are bitching about and say, not me. It's not me. You want to cry about how much men suck, how much rape culture sucks? Not me. I don't act like that. I don't put up with it. I advocate against it. If I saw it, I'd stop it. That's it. It's not me. So I don't have to be equally messed up and think men suck, think I suck, right? I don't have to be a fake feminist where guys are like, yeah, fake feminist, or I hate myself. Yeah, no, men suck so much. I know, the patriarchy. Oh, the white male patriarchy. Oh, men suck so much. And girls like, yeah, I know, I've been taught to say that too. Yeah, no, I hate myself. I hate myself. You know what happens? Behind every fake male feminist, a rapist is the joke. That's how a lot of these activist guys end up raping girls, because they hate themselves. They have no self-respect because they're taught to hate men. And if you want to be an ally of women taught to hate men, then you've got to say that. So they have no self-respect. They have no sense of responsibility, and they'll just give you a few drinks, get close to you, and then rape you. Right? That's what a lot of these fake feminist men do, is they just try and get close to women by being in disguise, by being self-hating. And then when they're that close to a woman and they're self-hating, they're not exactly good for themselves or women. And a lot of them resort to sexual assault or rape because they I hate myself, I hate myself. Yeah, no, I like you. I hate myself, I hate myself. Oh, I like you, I like you. Okay, I'm raping you. Because what happened? This guy he hated men so much, just like I did. And now he hates himself and he's a mess raping me. Well, that's why. Right? So being a fake male feminist is not a good idea when it comes to that. Right? Now, when it comes to defending women from themselves and bad influences on them, the news, the TV, the whatever, so on, I went through that earlier. When it comes to defending women against other men, that includes professional liars on TV. Many of them men out there scaring people, scaring women, confusing people. A lot of times they don't look into it that much. I know with all my girlfriends, I've told them anything that goes on outside this house is none of our business and it's not going to affect what goes on inside this house, right? So if somebody on TV says something stupid and we're supposed to fight, no. If one of your family members or friends says something stupid and you're supposed to be messed up and we're supposed to fight, no. None of that gets in here and messes with us, right? If something does, if you bring something home, if you hear something, if someone on TV said something, then it's my job to fix it, to clarify it. Because I, as a man, have to have a broader understanding of the world and have to make sure that anything that messes you up, that you're not really going to look into, I can handle for you. If they say the economy is going to be bad, we can get into it. Or I can just get her the hell out of it. If we get into it, we've got to discuss economy, who's behind it, central banking, blah, 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 blah. Can do that. But, a lot of times she doesn't want to do that, so fine. I'll just get her the hell out of it. Oh, honey, don't worry about it. They say the economy's going to be bad. In a few months, they'll say the economy's good. Now go buy stuff, right? The economy's good. Go buy stuff. Go invest. Go buy a new car. Go get out a new mortgage. Go, take out a new lease. Go get some new clothes, right? Just don't worry about that stuff, right? It's not... If we're not going to look into it in any more detail and it's just going to make you upset or worried, screw it. Get the hell out. Right? That's it. Done. Right? And by the way, I've gotten a lot of respect. You might think, well, that's crazy. I'm like, no, I'm 0 for a few on getting married. The girls typically want to get married after we've dated for a couple of years or whatever. I'm typically a little hesitant because of other stuff going on and my sort of hesitation about it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm a catch. It used to be much more of a catch. As things get crazier and crazier, and I'm one of the guys resisting it, and you're supposed to be fashionably a lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl, acting like and putting up with them and making everyone put up with and act like them, then it gets tougher to kind of move. I'm still cool. People realize I don't want to pay attention to it or act like it, so they're really nice. Polite Canadians can be the nicest people in the world, as long as you're not worked up and bothering them. They don't have to get worked up and bothering you, or you're not paying attention to it and making it clear that you're not going to respect each other. Then people can respect you, and you can be perfectly nice. But if it's fashionable too, and you know you're going to have to do that, put up with it, act like it, teach kids to, then it becomes a little trickier, right? So I wouldn't say at this point I'm as much of a catch as I used to be, but normal, polite Canadian environment, smart, good-looking guy, ballsy, right? Hard on the girls so we don't fight. Rest of the time, I'm nice, they're nice. Anytime something happens, nope. Draw a red line, done. Nope, nope. Draw a red line, done. No acting bitchy for no reason. Bark, yank, spank, or most importantly, time out. No, we're not fighting. If you make us fight for no reason, I'll kick the crap out of you. Not physically, but verbally, with my big man voice, my big man balls, my big man brain, my big man back. It's just going to be a mess. It's not happening, right? And or them being messed up by something. No, your friend's stupid. They're single. They're jealous. They're just causing problems because they can't solve them. Forget it. Don't listen. Just don't take her seriously, right? Just if you can't argue with her because you're both girls and you're friends, you don't want to screw that up. Fine, but don't let her screw up our relationship, right? That's not happening, right? So I've taken these hard stands when it comes to women, and they've always respected that, to protect them from themselves, from other women, from outside influences, and so on, right? And as a result of me feeling good and them feeling good, they charm the hell out of me and they get whatever the hell they want anyway. And I constantly feel like doing stuff for them, right? I constantly feel like doing stuff for them. If I'm at a bar with my girlfriend and the waitress didn't bring the ketchup, oh, she didn't bring the ketchup. I'm like, God damn it, woman, don't you feel upset for a second? We have an hour here to eat lunch. You're not going to be miserable for any part of that. I just get up from my seat. I go over to the bar counter server area. I grab a bottle of ketchup. I bring it back. I put it down. I don't give a shit who saw me, other customers, the bar staff, the owner, the waitress, the waiter. I don't give a shit about anybody. I just got up from the table where me and my girlfriend were having lunch or dinner or whatever. She was complaining about the ketchup or whatever. Didn't bring the ketchup for the fries. Go over, get it, put it down, done. That's it. It's over. I'm not worried about their feelings. If they want to talk about it, I can explain it, but it's done. That's it. Finished. And that type of gender responsible attitude is what is being destroyed today. And it's why men can't be their best selves. It's why they can't bring out the best in other men. And it's why they can't bring out the best in women and children as well, right? And, so there's proof with girlfriends in that sense. I had another girlfriend, a last beautiful girl I dated a few years ago, of a serious length of time. And I was trying to fix some shit some other guy broke or whatever. She was at one point going, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and she was half joking, half serious, right? And again, I was not doing stuff to her. I was doing stuff for her. It was all for her to not be messed up by this, not be messed up because some guy did something bad in the past or some things happened or no, it was all for her. And even if her ego as a brilliant, beautiful woman, was on the line, well, I heard this, it made sense to me, so I've got to repeat it or say it or think it. It's like, nope, nope, nope. You want to fight, you lose. If I'm wrong and you want to fight, you might win. Because I was wrong, I got to take the L. But otherwise, no. If I'm not wrong, you're not going to win. So you're not going to fight. It's just stupid, right? Now, if I'm wrong, that happens. Then you might fight, you might win. But if not, no. Can't happen. A man, you're a girl. Women want big, strong men. Men want hot, fun girls. Done. Doesn't happen, right? Unless you let them win shooting pool, you let them win at Pop-A-Shot, you let them win at this. You're again, you're responsible for that process and making sure it's fun. Even with the boy and girl I was hanging out with, I told the boy, hey, make sure that you, big, strong boy, make sure you use your strength not to beat the crap out of your sister, but to make sure everybody's having a good time. Feel your power by controlling the game. You see how I play with you? See how I play sports with you? You see how I control it? That's how I feel my power. You feel your power by making sure everything goes well. Now go. And they run around like maniacs, running, screaming, hitting each other with balloons. They're just freaking out like crazy, right? Because men like it, women like it, kids like it. I was just on Monday of this week at a Tim Hortons with 10 patriotic Canadian men, right? No rude line, bitchy, sketchy girls making each other too uncomfortable to respect each other and talk, but guys who didn't do that or discouraged anybody from starting to do that, so the collective was we were all cool. And we were at a Tim Hortons just south of Toronto City Hall on Monday, April 29th, 2019. We went there to get coffees while waiting for some stuff to settle at City Hall, Toronto City Hall, where we were, in Mordor, in Clown Town, Toronto. And so me and these 10 guys were there. And we were all talking to each other, encouraging each other to talk, be cool, straight up, talk, this and that. And a little boy, looked to be about 3 years old, kind of moved towards me, right? We're all in line, I didn't know the kid, and he moved towards me, moved towards my leg, right? And I was looking at him, and, the other guys were like, huh? And I was like, it's the male voice, right? It's the authoritative, confident male voice that I'm using while I'm talking to you guys. It's opposed to being fashionably this or uncertain. It's the certainty, S-I-R, certainty. It's the male voice, the confident, strong male voice that's so rare these days. He gravitates towards that because he wants to be like that one day, right? So I looked at the little boy, and then I looked around for the parent, and I saw the mom there. It was a light-skinned, tall Muslim woman with a little head shawl, not the full face thing, niqab, but just a little head shawl or whatever. And so I looked at her, and I just smiled, because I know how women are, girls are, when it comes to this stuff. Women are sometimes scared of me, but I don't mind that. I don't try and scare them. I just unscare them. They're scared. They're, that's a man. That's one of those things. I hope I can be good at being a woman. If he's good at being a man, it's a lot of pressure on me, right? So they're a little scared. And then I just try and unscare them. Don't worry about it. It's fine, right? They're naturally scared. It's fine. But then if they can be good at being a good girl or good at being a bad girl, then they're unscared. They're fine, right? And if I'm not going to bother them, because, I could be obnoxious, I could be a pain. If in fact I do the opposite, then they're unscared. So a lot of women are just naturally a little scared of a badass, manly guy, as opposed to, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl. Oh yeah, no, I know how it is. I've got to put up with and act like them too. Oh yeah, of course. Well, talk too loud. Oh, make people put up with you. Oh yeah. All that shit, right? No point in being a nice girl, graceful, attractive, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. There's not like I can be bad at being a girl with you and have it mean anything. Like I can be horrible at being a girl with you because you're horrible at being a man. So it doesn't matter, right? But if you're good at being a man, then there's a lot of pressure on them to be good at being women, right? So they can be a little scared about screwing up, or whatever, or picking a fight or whatever. But then I just try and unscare them. So the little boy came close to me. I explained to some of the other guys what the little boy was doing coming close to me while I was talking to them and being a louder, confident guy among a few that day at the Tim Hortons south of Toronto City Hall, which is a coffee shop in Canada. And then I looked at the woman, the mother, just smiled, give my generic, hey, woman, yeah, just no pressure, no nothing. Don't need to get into it with you. Don't even need to say hello. Don't need to talk to me. Don't need to do anything. Just don't bust my balls. That's it. And so I just smiled at her, just interacting with the kid a little bit. How are you, young man? Blah, blah, blah. Busy, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, whatever. Just goofed around with the kid a bit. Smiled at the mom. Done. Got back in line. Ordered my coffee. And so when I ordered my coffee and I was waiting for it, The little boy, again, came close to my left leg. Little 3-year-old boy, didn't say much. Wasn't quite 4 or 5, wasn't 2, could walk comfortably, but was at that really, really young age, right? And so he was staring at the Tim Hortons window, behind which were a bunch of donuts and muffins and so on. And he was just down to my left. And I was like, ooh, look at you. You want lots of sugar, right? He goes, shakes his head. Oh, but you can only have one. You can only have a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to get sick, right? So you have to be careful. Choose the right one you want. He goes, oh, okay. He's trying to understand that, right? And then, to avoid him getting too attached to me and kind of following me around the place, I was like, hey, is mommy okay? Make sure mommy's okay, right? And he's looking at me like, huh? I'm like, hey, make sure mommy's okay. I know you want to have fun. You're a cute little boy. You want to have fun. You want to have sugar, but you're busy too. You're busy. You got to make sure mommy's okay. Mommy's here. There's lots of people everywhere. You're a busy, busy little boy. And he looked at me and he kind of started dancing a bit. I was like, make sure mommy's okay. Go find mommy. I wanted to tell the woman, the mom there, that I wasn't trying to be untoward towards their relationship or anything. I was trying to encourage him. Like, yeah, I just goofed around. Nice guy in public, with other people around, kid near me or whatever. But I'm trying to encourage him to respect his mom, go back to his mom, don't hang out with me, don't hang out with strangers, but be nice to people, nice to you. And I was like, oh, you're a cute little boy, making everybody happy, having a good time, want to have fun. But remember, you got to make sure mommy's okay, right? And so he kind of danced a little bit. He danced kind of near me. Busy, 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 busy little boy. Busy, 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 right? Hungry, hungry, hungry. You want some sugar? But also busy, 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 right? And he kind of looked at me and his eyes got big and he smiled and he laughed, right? And then he kind of danced his way a little bit near me, like, go for the sugar. Oh, go take care of mommy. Go for the sugar. Go take care of mommy, right? And then, he went, I got my coffee at that point. He started making his way a little bit more towards his mom. And after I got my half white hot chocolate, half coffee, large, 3 milks and 1 sugar, delicious, from Tim Hortons in Toronto, Canada, I just looked at the mom, held up my cup like this, and, just kind of cheersed. Generic, harmless guy smile, not serious guy, dangerous guy look, but generic, harmless guy smile. And she kind of put her head down, shyly and smiled a bit like, a shy girl, confidently happy, shy girl smile. Didn't say anything to her, right? Talked to the kid a bit, a fair bit, but didn't say nothing to the mom. But I just did that, just generically, tried to be as conservative as possible with this woman. She kind of looked down a bit and smiled. And then I went back to the 10 men I was hanging out with to continue talking shop with each other, right? And so I bring all that up to make it clear that this is still an attractive quality, generally speaking. Not to be like, whoa, bro, you're weird. Like, no, I'm normal. You're just supposed to act weird and make everyone put up with and act like you and kind of just go along with it, right? But it's not what we actually want or we actually like. It's sort of like mass zombiosis, mass hypnosis. It's like the Matrix. It's like even people you talk to about this, they can't talk much about it. They can talk about it a little bit. They can see it going on. They can kind of whatever, but you're not supposed to say anything. And then other people just running around spazzing out like zombies, trying to force you to see them look ugly and run away, who get off and being ignored, just in a big hurricane around you, right? So it's still an attractive quality to other men and to women and to children. And that's why I'm putting this video out there. And so when it comes to defending men from defending women from other men, this is something that you can talk about, not to be a virtue signaler, not to be an ass kisser of girls, because you're not doing whatever they say or whatever they want. You're not whatever. You've got your own balls to maintain. You've got your own pride and self-respect to maintain. As I've said to many a woman, if I ain't shit, how can I tell you you're shit? Screw that. I gotta be somebody to tell you you're somebody. I gotta be good at being a man to tell you if you're good at being a good girl. Oh, you're so nice. Or you're so sweet. Oh, you're so this. Or you're so, or good at being a bad girl. Oh, you're so hot. Oh, you're so dirty. Or you're such a bad girl. Look at you standing there wearing almost nothing. Ooh, you're so bad. Like that's not, a bad man is dangerous. A bad girl is just, sexy, getting away with some shit. Like that's a bad girl, right? So, but if you're not good at being a man, then you're useless to other men and to women and children. So you can't even do that well, right? You could only get sympathy for being a mess as opposed to get respect for making sure you're not and nobody else is. Um, so that's part of the package. That's part of the package. Um, and other men, while they still do, as the brainwashing keeps going and as the next generation comes up, who the hell knows where this will go? It'll probably still be in there genetically some way, but it just might, it might be gone culturally and then eventually gone from our makeup as men and women, where it's been the case for thousands of years. But men respect you when you're stepping to each other for the right reasons, right? Cops, right? Cops will respect you. Killers will respect you. Gangsters will respect you, right? I've met them all, right? I've met them all. I've dealt with them all, right? If it's for the right reason, they respect you. And if you're somebody to respect, then they have the option of having self-respect on the table. That's why it's important to be somebody who can respect, who you can respect, who people can respect. Because if you have that, then they have the option to have self-respect with somebody they respect. If you're not with somebody you respect, then it's hard to have self-respect. Because what did you do with somebody you don't respect? Nothing much. So how do you feel? Like nothing much, right? So, but when it comes to men defending women from other men acting badly, the drunk on the dance floor example I mentioned earlier. I'll mention another example. I was working at a mixed martial arts gym, and so it's a mixed martial arts gym. It's a holiday, and it's like a holiday Sunday, right? So we're closing early. We're closing at 5 instead of like 6 or 7, right? And staff's been working. You want to get out of there, go home to see the family, whatever. It's a holiday. You get off work an hour or two early, right? And so there was a bunch of guys in the men's change room, right? And they were taking their time getting dressed, right? They were taking their time. And, the staff or whatever wanted them to hurry up and get out of there, exactly by 5 p.m., not by 5:15 or 5:30. Even though it's an hour earlier than they would normally have to get out because of the holiday Sunday. But we wanted them out because we all wanted our holiday Sunday too. Like, we want to get out of here, soon, right? So it's a mixed martial arts gym. There's probably about a dozen men left in the change room, closer to 5 p.m.-ish, right? And for whatever reason, we get the vibe, we get the sense, or people have gone in and out, that they're taking their time changing, right? So a female who works there, she's reasonably senior enough to sort of, make this type of call, right? And so, it's a big gym, lots of people work out there, whatever. But she opens the men's change room door, and she yells, "Hey, you guys have to hurry up, you guys have to hurry up and go. We've got a holiday Sunday here. We all got to go. Hurry up, blah, blah, blah." So she yells at him through the door, right? I know what it's like for a woman to yell at a guy like that, right? It's awful, right? It's not supposed to happen unless you've done something really horribly wrong. And I know that it wasn't going to be a big motivating factor for the dozen guys in there. Some mixed martial arts killers, hardcore killers, black belt style, whatever, plus other guys that, just work out, or other guys that, whatever, not killers, but just go to the gym, work out, spend a few $100 a year to do that, right? I was like, this is not going to work. If they've been slacking before, this chick yelling through the door is not going to work. So, I waited a minute or so, and then I walked into the men's change room, and I saw the dozen guys there changing. And they were talking to each other, right? They were changing, yeah, blah, 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 yeah, blah, 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 yeah, put on deodorant, blah, 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 yeah, slowly but surely, put on the pants, blah, 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 just more focused on the conversation than they were getting changed and getting the hell out of there, right? And so, I piped up, average height, average weight, average build guy, big balls, but otherwise average, right? And I said, "Hey guys, look, we got a great gym here. You like it. We like it. We've been working hard, but it's a holiday Sunday. Everybody wants to go home and see their families, right? So, I want you guys to focus on getting changed and getting out of here because you can talk outside. And I'm not going to let you talk to each other for the next 10 minutes unless you do that. That's it. I'm going to be here for 10 minutes. If I see you guys start talking to each other, like, yeah, slack ass, talking, not really focused on changing, more focused on talking with other buddies. We go to this gym too. If I see you guys doing that, I'm not going to let you. I'm going to interrupt that conversation. Right? You focus on getting changed, you can talk a bit, you can finish the rest outside. You focus on talking more than getting changed, not going to let you. So, I had a dozen guys there, some killers. Other guys just big. Most guys bigger than I am. Right? And I'm there, and I look at them, and they look at me, and I look at them, and they look at me. And one or two of them give me kind of a dirty look. Right? Most of them are like, kind of like size me up and go, meh. A couple of them give me a dirty look like, buddy, you step to me like that, and I might see you in the parking lot later and turn your head into a squished grapefruit, right? So I looked at a couple of guys giving me a dirty look like, do you really want to fight? Because I train to fight all the time, and I'll kill you if you get in my face. I looked at a couple of the guys giving me a dirty look. I was like, hey, next time it could be you, and it could be me. We work to make sure you have a nice gym. We work hard to make sure it's a great place to be a member of. And this is what's going on right now. Right? And I looked at him. I said, next time, could be you, could be me. Right? I told him, we could switch places. You could be coming into this change room, and I could be the guy going, blah, 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 screw these people trying to tell us to leave. We're going to keep talking. We're going to be, whatever. And that's what I did with a couple of the guys that gave me the dirtier looks as opposed to the rest, out of a dozen or so. Right? And then I stood there for a couple of minutes, and the conversation got a little quieter. Still chatting a bit, but more focused on getting changed. And after I saw, for a couple of minutes, the guys picking up the pace when it comes to them getting changed, and me, noticing that, I just left. I left. No sense in me. Again, it's about making sure things are cool more than making sure you want to fight with somebody. It's about making sure things are cool. There is still that respect, right? So I waited a couple of minutes, saw that they were moving, they were peer pressuring each other to get changed more than talk, and I left. I was like, all right, I'm not trying to punk you, I'm not trying to get punked either, and I left. And that was it. And I left, went back to my desk, chilled out. Later on, I left to work, 5:30 or whatever, 5:15, 5:30 after they'd left and after the place had shut down on the holiday Sunday. And I saw half a dozen guys outside in a circle continuing the conversation they were having inside. And I just went, what's up? Hey, he gave me a nod, what's up? Just a guy nod, hey, what's up? And that was it. Kept going, caught my bus, went home. Right? So when it comes to defending, women from other men, and when it comes to making sure guys are cool, there is still that market there, right? Even in Toronto, in 2010, during G20 martial law, when the G20 summit of 20 of the most powerful, economically powerful countries in the world was being held in Toronto, they were worried about Antifa, Black Bloc protesters, and all this other crap happening. And the government was inviting all the activists to a fight with the cops, so there was all this preparation for that big fight, big stupid fight. I said, when they invite you to a fight with the cops, don't go. Share information in the offline info war with people that are curious about the G20 and are never going to give a crap about it again. They'll only give a crap about it when the media makes them. Otherwise, they're never going to give a crap about it. So while the media is talking about it and making it a big thing, share your side of things with everybody else. Don't just get in a fight with the cops the government set up so that you look bad, the cops look bad, and everybody hates you both, right? But that's ultimately what happened, right? So in the summer of 2010, during G20 martial law, the city ordered 20,000 cops to show up in Toronto to fight with a bunch of activists. They ordered a giant fence and concrete wall to be built to kind of protect the financial district in Toronto. And it was just a bunch of bullshit, right? But the cops were all hopped up on anybody could be a protester, anybody could be a black bloc, anybody dressed normal could have, weapons on them. And so the cops were all hopped up into scaring everybody. They were glaring at everybody. Are you a possible protester? You could be a protester. You could be a protester. You could be a protester. And they scared the shit out of everybody in downtown Toronto for the week or so leading up to the weekend of the big fight with the cops that the protesters are supposed to have, right? And so they were just scaring the shit out of people. And it was pin drop quiet, which is unusual for a beautiful July day in Toronto, June, July, around that time in downtown Toronto. But it was super quiet because the cops were scaring the shit out of people by just glaring at everybody. And there was not just normal cops around, there was 20,000 extra ones. So every, 1,500 feet, you'd see a cop in downtown Toronto, and he's just there glaring at people, right? And and scaring people, and scaring everyone into being quiet. So I had a radio show at the time on CKLN 88.1 FM in Toronto, and I took my camera and my recording device, and I went out there to the cops. This was in the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before the Friday, Saturday, Sunday big, Maine protest versus Maine cops beat them up and kettle them, and everybody looked bad on TV, thing, right? This is in the days leading up to that. And I yelled at all the cops. I was like, hey, what the hell is wrong with you? It's 35 degrees. You're wearing a wool suit. You're going to have a friggin' stroke. I said, chill out. Calm down. Stop scaring everybody. You don't have to scare the crap out of everybody in Toronto to look for a couple of goddamn protesters that might cause trouble, right? That's not a cool thing to do, right? Just keep an eye on things. Don't scare everybody near you because they might be a protester. What the hell is wrong with you, right? And I filmed it and filmed me yelling and filmed it and filmed the cops and filmed and played some of my radio show, right? My morning radio show the next day. And I went during that time and I yelled at, 1,000 cops, right? This stuff, right? And I yelled at them and they glared at me back and I glared at them. They look, what? What are you doing yelling at me? I'm like, hey, what are you doing acting stupid? Right? Just back and forth. Me and 1,000 cops in 2010, right? And then I saw over the course of a couple of days, instead of glaring at everybody leaning forward, instead they were leaning back or just standing upright, right? Head in a swivel, hands in their cot belt or at their sides, just keep an eye on things, right? Yep. Heads turning left to right and right to left. Just keeping an eye on things. I'm in charge around here. I'm cool. Anybody F's around? Bang. Take me less than 2 seconds to draw my gun and put a bullet in your face. But I'm cool. I'm chilling. It's a beautiful day in the city. Just keeping an eye on things. It's all good, right? That they changed their body language from all hopped up, glaring and scaring people to chilled out, straight up, standing up, hands in their cot belt, shoulders back, chest out. Just keep an eye on things. I won't miss a beat. Not going to miss a goddamn thing. If I see somebody over there doing something stupid, go over, figure it out, bullet in the head, whatever, right? But otherwise, I'm cool. It's a beautiful day in Toronto to get paid, $50, $100 an hour to stand here, right? Who cares, right? So that's another example of that, right? Of the idea of guys stepping to each other on behalf of other men, but more specifically women and children, right? And if you're stepping to them about something as opposed to about them, then they're way cooler. If you're stepping to them about them, then it can cause more problems, right? And I bring this up to say that these are things we need to save. The ability for all men to be able to do this, and the ability for all men and women and children to respect it. Because if that happens, we'll be cool and we'll think, talk, fight, and get stuff done for each other and where we live. If it doesn't, then we'll fall apart and take everybody else with us, as seems to be the big globalist versus nationalist plan worldwide. Even in Europe, they killed all the men and they shrilled all the women, right? They kill all the men. Well, don't say anything about this. You're white, don't say anything. You're a European, don't say anything. You're a male, don't say anything. Okay, fine. So, men are all bitchy, sketchy, cucked up, quiet, sensitive, fake, silly, whatever. Women all shrill. Sucks. Feminist this, climate change that, blah, blah, blah. Men suck this, blah, blah, blah. And then they bring in the radical migrants to rob, rape, and murder us, right? That's what's happening in Europe. And nobody can say anything about it. You may have the odd middle-aged woman on TV, trying to defend little girls from rape and grooming gangs in Europe and England and other places, but very rare. And the men are just gone; they're killed, and the women are shrilled, turned bitchy and stressed, right? So, and then the kids are all screwed up, right? And you wonder why the kids are all going trans. Well, if the guys are all just miserable, messed up, rude, ugly girls, and the women are all miserable, messed up, rude, ugly girls, then the kids look at, I don't want to be like dad. He's a mess. He can't show her any respect. And the women all look at mom. I don't want to be like mom. She's a mess. Can't show her any respect. She isn't nice. Nobody treats her nice. Forget it. Right? And so that's why a lot of the kids are suffering from massive gender confusion as part of this process. Right? And again, it's a broader attack. The attacks on gender make it hard for us to communicate. That's why gender is attacked so much. Because if you're bad at being girls and guys, it's hard to have pride. And then it's hard to communicate well and respect each other. And that makes us easier to control, especially offline. Online, you might be typing stuff to strangers. It's really smart. But offline, if you're acting stupid, you're probably not going to say much smart or hear much smart as part of that. So that's why gender is attacked like this. So, the final thing I've got to say on this, I guess, is the male ego is kind of based on being cool, like I said, making sure others are and where you live is. And, women and children love it and are basically soft targets, right? Other men are tougher, trickier, more dangerous to deal with simply by nature of their sheer physicality. At the extreme ends, with men, there's more geniuses and there's more crazy people, right? There's more firefighters that'll run into a burning building, that'll save, babies from burning buildings. And there's more men that will set buildings on fire and burn babies to death. So when it comes to men, the extremes are there. Extreme geniuses, extreme idiots, extreme heroes, extreme villains. There's a larger percentage of extremes when it comes to males, according to studies. When it comes to females, there's less extremes. There's more of a middle. There are still a couple of extremes. There's an extreme genius girl here, but it's not like 10% of them. It's like 2% of them. And, when it comes to evil, violent, crazy, homicidal, dangerous girls, it's not like 10% of guys. It's like 2% of women, right? So at the end of those spectrums, there are more dangerous men are more dangerous at either more helpful or more dangerous at either end of the spectrum. Women are more same and similar across the board. In terms of our socialization, men are encouraged to be more individual and outspoken. Women more, men are more, what the hell's going on here? Women are more, is everything all right? Men will burst in, what the hell's going on here? Right? Women will be, is everything all right? I want to make sure everything's getting along. Whereas men are more like, this is bullshit. Right? So, and part of the male ego is based on that. And yet, the soft targets to sort of flex like this are women and children. If you screw up with women and screw up with children and you can't handle that responsibility, then you're going to be a mess for other men. And because you're a mess for other men, you won't be able to get respect from them either. So keep in mind that women and children are the soft targets in this. Men want girls, girls want to be somebody's girls, kids, want to be somebody's. It's all part of that process. So they're the soft targets, and if you can get stuff right with them, and you can get them to kind of agree to helping you feel responsible and useful so they can feel safe and special, then that can help boost your confidence. If that gets screwed up, then you're more of a piece of shit for them and men and ultimately yourself to have to deal with and put up with and kind of suffer for being, right? And so there's other women and children, but if you can get stronger from getting that sorted out, then you can get stronger for dealing with other men as well. But again, if you get the women and children part right, then even other men aren't a problem. You can manage, right? Like I've been managing with this stuff, on and off for 8 years. Some success, some failure, some highs, some lows, but basically still in shape. as a manufacturer who can make more confident men, who make more confident men, who make more confident and capable men, who make more confident and capable men. And then, all right, everything cool? Everything cool? Guys, check, check. Vancouver, check. Newfoundland, check. All right, Alberta, check. Quebec, check. Ontario, check. Cool, cool. All right, great. Let the women and kids out. Great. No, guys are fine. They're making sure things are fine. People are fine. Let them out. Let them out. Let them play. It's almost the summer. Just let them out. Let them out. Let them out. It's fine. Right? So I'm in that position in Canada and for others around the world who are interested to help make more confident men who make more confident men who make more confident men and capable men and so on, so that where you live is cool, and then you can let the women and children out and they won't be, damaged by men that are bad at it and making everyone else put up with and act like them. Right? Men so bad at being men, they become bad at being women, and then make everyone put up with and act like them like a selfish bitch, right? Which is kind of the brainwashing. So that's a manufacturing option at manforwars.com to support if people would like. And finally, being able to deal with women and children, soft targets, having some balls, then being able to deal with other men, bigger, harder targets, but still possible with some balls. And a lot of them, want to meet guys like that who have some self-respect, who they can either respect, so you respect each other, so you can both rise to your full height, chest out, shoulders back, don't lie, look a man in the eye, be straight up, be cool with each other. Or if you're a lying bitch begging to be broken, who you can act stupid and be ignored by, right? Crapped on or ignored, right? So you're good for other men. Men want to be cool, good at being men with other men, you're good at it. If they're a miserable lying bitch begging to be broken and they just want to act stupid and be ignored or shit on, you could do that too. Done, right? But as long as you can be good with women and children and understand your responsibilities there and take a firm stance on your responsibilities, not that you're not nice, to yourself or them or anybody else. You're just responsible for making sure things are cool and they are nicer to you because of that. Then you can be cooler for other men, and then ultimately you can be cool for the battle with the man. Now it's a pretentious title, The Man. What a pretentious fuck. But ultimately, it makes you cooler for a battle with the man. And that's nationalism versus globalism. That's instead of going, oh, yeah, I've heard some stuff. Yeah, no, yes, it's conspiracy, or it's a this, it's a that. No, I know, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But yeah, there's always been good and bad people. No, don't do anything, don't say anything. You know how it is. Instead of just being a mess, a sheepish, sideways, bitchy mess, you could actually be a man who can battle the man. And that's ultimately the goal of all this. That's the last target. Women and children, soft targets, man up, they like it, you like it, good. Other men, has to happen, make it happen. Done. The man, the last target, you're in good shape for that. And that's the point. As patriots, as nationalists versus globalism, as people can understand the big picture, make sure there's a bunch of pretty ones where you live, and make sure the overall big picture future is one that you can appreciate and be appreciated for, helping manifest. That's ultimately the plan. So reverse engineering this from men that are useless and dangerous to men that are useful and valuable is part of what this video and this process was about. And I hope some of these ideas helped. So there you have it, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. Feel free to comment, subscribe, get in touch as you'd like. You can share parts of this if you'd like, if you find parts of it were interesting. You can also financially support the manforwars.com efforts. You can get in touch to discuss options, or there's PayPal and direct deposit donation links below. Otherwise, as said, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.